I'm Lant Pritchett. I'm with the Center for Global Development in Washington, D.C., and also a professor at the Harvard Kennedy School. One of the truly phenomenal successes of the 20th century and of development as an endeavor has been to get nearly every kid in the world into school. It's really been amazing. The average adult years of education in the developing world has gone from 2 in 1950 to 7 today. 7 is a level that was only achieved by the rich countries in the 1970s. So in terms of really getting kids into a building called school, tremendous success. However, now I think there's really an opportunity to shift with the post-2015, with the expiration of the Millennium Development Goals in 2015 and thinking about a post-2015 development agenda. It's time to pivot the education movement from being access-focused and enrollment-focused and mere grade attainment focused to being learning-focused. Because the original point of schooling wasn't just to have kids sit in a school for 5 years, it was actually that they emerge from schooling process equipped in their role as citizens, in their role as parents, as their role as workers in a global economy. What we know from the evidence around the world is that children are emerging from their schooling experiences woefully unprepared for today's world, much less the world of the future. So we see in places like India, kids who are completing primary school grade 5, less than half of them have command over even the rudiments of literacy and numeracy. And by both of those, I mean very simple, able to read a simple text and understand it. I'm not even talking about, analytical skills or deep comprehension. So we're at this stage where the actual amount of student learns per year is just too low for them to just progress through the existing school system and emerge with an adequate skill set. So this is what I call the learning profile, which is the amount you learn from year to year, and we just need radically improved learning profiles. What we know from the existing empirical evidence is that the input-based modes that we've been going of more textbooks, smaller class sizes, that's not that that's not important, it's not that it won't have to happen, but if you do that at the existing level of effectiveness of learning, you still will be far, far, far from an adequate level of learning. So we need inputs plus, not inputs alone. I want to go with an animal metaphor. When we say performance-based education, what I want to emphasize is there's lots of different ways of getting something done. So if you look at the animal world, lots of creatures swim. Fish swim, penguins swim, dolphins, mammals swim, birds swim, fish swim, snakes swim, lots of different things swim. All of those are consistent with some underlying principles of hydrology, but that each evolved to do it in their own way because they had the survival needs that they needed to get done. What we have so far is lots of innovation with no performance on pressure, with no pressure on performance. We don't have schools that are surviving and thriving because they're really providing learning. They're surviving and thriving because they are schools. So I think the shift is to think, let's create spaces in which schools and the people in schools and teachers have the autonomy to learn what works and to provide the learning content that is needed. At the same time, they have the pressure and the feedback of knowing whether or not what they're doing works, which involves, rather than thinking of the entire process as top-down delivery of inputs, and as long as we have the right books in the right places in the right classrooms, really thinking of what are the skills that children are emerging from schooling with, and let's have a lot more flexibility of the schools and the providers surrounded with a lot clearer directional goals of what we want to accomplish and a lot more real-time hard feedback on how much progress is being made at the system level. So not increasing high stakes for the student, but making it really high stakes for the system.